All right, the second problem on the ticket out the door was an area of a rectangle. So here we have another rectangle, and we're looking for the area. Now, area of a rectangle is length times width. And because it's a rectangle, we know that all of these angles are right angles. All the consecutive sides are perpendicular. So we just need to figure out the length and the width. Let's call this long side the length and the short side the width. It doesn't matter which is which, but you have to get one of each. All right, and we don't need to get AD because it'll be the same as BC, and we're not looking for perimeter. We just need one length and one width. All right, so to get the length, I'm going to be looking at the distance between B and C. B is at 2, 1. C is at -2, -5. All right, so I need to take the square root. Again, this is the distance formula of my x values are 2 and -2. 2 minus -2 squared plus, then I look at the y values, 1 minus -5 squared. If you did them in the opposite order, you'd wind up with a negative here, but when you square a negative, it turns positive. So that's fine. You can do them in either order. You're just looking at the difference between the values. 2 minus -2 is 4, so I have 4 squared under my square root, plus 1 minus -5 is 6. 6 squared. This is 16 plus 36 under my square root, which is 52. And again, we're not simplifying the radicals or anything fancy like that. Once we get to a square root, we're simply putting it in. So I have to wait for it to turn sideways. Come on, there we go. And I put in 52 square root, 7.2 approximately. So the long side of my rectangle is 7.2. Now to get the short side, I can look from A to B. So A is at -1, 3. All right, so all of this was the length. Now I'm going to look at the width. The width is going to be the difference in x values, so 2 minus -1. And this is, as always, squared and under the square root, plus, and then the difference in the y values. Now I'm going to have 1 minus 3 squared. 2 minus -1 is going to give me a positive 3 squared. 1 minus 3 is going to give me a -2. But when I square that -2, it's exactly the same as positive 2. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. So that's actually going to give me 3 squared is 9, and -2 times -2 is positive 4. So I have 9 plus 4 under the square root. That's the square root of 13. And again, using my calculator, there's always a slight delay while I put in my code for my phone. There we go. All right, so I need the square root of 13. 1, 3, square root, 3.6. All right. And then the area of the rectangle, finally, is simply length times width. Area equals length times width, which we now know is approximately 7.2 times 3.6. And so I'm just going to do that. 7.2 times 3.6. $25.9. That's it. So you guys will have number 4 to try for yourself.